Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to Sméagol's transformation. This is a film that came out on my YouTube channel back in June 16th of 2022. 1 year to the day, in fact, that The Tale of Sméagol and Deagle premiered on my YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. So today I'll be reacting to Sméagol's transformation, giving you some behind the scenes information you didn't already know, and yeah, let's get started.
When chance came, it ensnared a new bearer.
My precious.
The ring came to the creature Gollum, who took it deep into the tunnels of the misty mountains. And there, it consumed him.
Okay, so that whole first beginning sequence was essentially a recap from The Tale of Sméagol and Deagle. When I first began editing the film, I wanted a bit of a backstory. I wanted you to remember what happened before the fact that he transformed into Gollum. Plus, it made the film an extra 45 seconds longer, so we added in that first whole part. Not only did we add that whole recap in at the very first start of the film, but I also added in this next sequence.
The ring brought to Gollum unnatural long life. For 500 years it poisoned his mind. And in the gloom of Gollum's cave, it waited.
So that whole scene right there of Gollum in the cave, messing with the ring, admiring it, that was something extra that I wanted to add in, just so the film wouldn't start like this, of Gollum falling into the water, and thus begins the transformation. That was how the film was originally going to start, is right here, which we're about to watch. But it was going to be only about 1.5 minutes, and I wanted the film to be longer. I wanted you to get some more backstory. So I pulled the audio from the film of Galadriel talking about the past, of what the ring went through and who Gollum was and everything like that. And I pulled that audio out and I stuck it in here, and we just filmed the sequence of Gollum in the cave playing with the ring. So that was the very first new scene that I decided to add in. So you got a little bit more backstory to who this guy is before you jump right into his whole transformation. Okay, so what you just watched there was about maybe 5 scenes-ish combined. Those 5 scenes took half a day to film, which is pretty shocking. But if you watch the behind-the-scenes video, you might understand why it took such a long time, getting, of course, the mud and the dirt all over me and stuff like that, just trying to make myself look more Gollum-like. It was definitely a pretty disgusting 5 scenes that I had to film. So those first couple scenes were filmed in 1 day, and then the remainder of the scenes were filmed the very next day. And I had, of course, my friends Quillen and Drew and Jack to help out with filming. They were a lot of help getting equipment down the creek. We filmed in the same creek that we shot The Tale of Sméagol and Deagle in. We just went more downstream, and it turned out really well. Now, I've gone exploring down there a few times, and there was a certain location that we'd always hit a little ways down the creek, and I've always thought, oh, this is really a cool landscape with the rocks kind of slanting upwards and little water coming down. For the original film, that's kind of how they shot it. It was kind of this upstream creek, essentially. So that location turned out really well, and it was really neat to film there. All right, let's continue.
And we wept, precious. We wept, we silly.
Okay, I have to pause here. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions on what you just saw. Okay, so that was a real fish that you just saw. I, of course, did not stick the fish in my mouth or anything. We had this fish that we caught in our lake, and we stuck him in a bucket filled with water, left him out that night, and we figured we'd come out the next morning, he'd be alive swimming in the bucket, and we'd just use him throughout the day. And when we're done, we put him back in the lake. So we came out the very next morning, and sure enough, the fish was not in the bucket filled with water. He was on the ground, and he was dead, and he stank. He really, really stank, and let me tell you, if anything made filming worse that day, it was 100% the fish. The fish stank so bad, and we had to carry him just about everywhere for every single shot that we had to do, including that scene of Gollum in the cave and the camera pans up from the fish to Gollum. So that was originally supposed to be a live fish. We figured we'd stick him in the creek for that first shot, him just swimming around the water, and I grabbed him real quick. He was dead, so I kind of just flopped him in and hoped he would float on the top for just a brief second, and then I'd grab him. And we filmed that a few times. And then for that shot where I had to take a chomp out of him, I just picked him up with both hands, held him to my mouth, and that was, of course, 2 separate shots. I held him up to my mouth. I pretended like I was gonna take a bite out of him, and then we cut that, and then we went to a separate shot. I'm sure you're all curious what was in my mouth. It was tortilla wraps. I stuck a tortilla wrap in my mouth, and I just put the fish right here as I was chewing, and I pulled him away, and then I chewed like that, and essentially it looked like I had just taken a bite out of this fish, and now I was eating it. All right, let's continue. I love that scene right there so much.
We forgot the taste of bread.
I wish I could have added
Of trees.
more of it.
The softness of the wind. We even forgot our own name.
Okay, so of that scene of him coming into this cave, I will say probably the worst location that we did, because there were thorns on the ground and things like that, so you had to be careful with that. There were some bees around, which were super duper annoying. So that was probably the worst location with just all of the bugs around you. But it was, like I said, it was very worth it for this final shot. That's a cool one right there where he opens his eyes like that. Alright, so there it is. That is the whole film of Sméagol's transformation. So I've gotten this question a couple times. What was the hardest part about this film? To be completely honest with you, I think the hardest part about this film was editing. Editing was super duper difficult, especially when it came to the brightness versus darkness scenes. Just having to go through every single shot and darkening it to a certain point where it looked realistic and not fake. And that took me days to darken every single shot, to the point where I liked it for the final product. Overall, this film was super duper fun to make. It's always fun to recreate one of my favorite movie series, especially with my friends. Now the big question is, will another Lord of the Rings film be coming out? I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. There is another short that I'd like to do. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it would be pretty cool. I'd really enjoy it. These are always, like I said, so much fun to make, and I really like doing them for you. Thank you so much for watching this reaction video of Sméagol's transformation, taken from The Lord of the Rings. If you'd like to see more content like this, check out the other reaction video. And once again, thanks so much for watching this video. Have a great week, guys. See you next time.